How's it going, everybody? It is your 33rd favorite lawyer here, Tommy Badeaux, and we are back. This is going to be video 5 of the NOLA stage wrecked trials, but it's in direct correlation to the last video we did where we touched upon insurance defense lawyers, CPAs, envelope-wielding paralegals, and then one of the star witnesses, the head slammer, the OG, Mr. Damien Lebeau, took the stand on Friday. We discussed him. He got really into it with his involvement and his relationship with Giles and how they were tea for tat until they weren't. Then he began staging wrecks for Keating. And then obviously, somehow, some way, he also worked with Cornelius Garrison, who was the star witness who got popped and was cooperating with the feds, but also Ryan Harris. So today, that's who we're talking about. So quick little recap. You had Lebeau, Garrison, Harris, all three notorious slammers, some of the more prominent actors in this whole scheme. Lebeau was working more with Giles and King Firm, whereas Harris was working more with Mata and Alfordish, and also, I think, a little bit with Keating. So Ryan Harris took the stand on Monday. His testimony, eerily similar to what Lebeau was saying last week about Giles. And so what he was essentially saying is, hey, just like my boy Damien said on Friday, they knew everything that was going on. Don't let them lie to you. They were heavily involved. Harris painted a little more eloquent picture about what was going on, got into some serious detail, more about how the sausage was made. Essentially said that he was close. He was close to Mata and Alfordish. He had first met them through an orchestrated wreck with the other crew. But that once he met Mata, he assured her, hey, I'll be back. And sure enough, that she knew what was going on, and he was bringing her potential clients and more people to get involved in wrecks. He kind of peeled back the operation a little bit and said, hey, I came up in this game. I started off as a low-rung level passenger, and he told a story about how I guess they all used to congregate underneath an overpass in New Orleans. And essentially, it sounds eerily similar. You'd congregate, you'd wait for one of the OG slammers to come up and kind of pick you out and say, all right, you're up. You're going to hop in the Nissan Maxima today, and we're going to get in a wreck. Sounds a little similar to maybe going to pick up illegals at Home Depot. All right, you're up. Let's go. And he said he worked his way up from being like a spotter and a passenger in these things to actually being the driver who gets in the crashes. And then once you're an established slammer, you then can orchestrate, get all your boys and girls and start organizing your own. So he was a head honcho at the end. Remember, he worked hand in hand with Garrison. He got kind of shown the ropes by Lebeau as well. And he straight up admitted, hey, yeah, since as recent as 2023, he said he was still staging wrecks with Mata. She knew about it. He was meeting with her in her office. Some of the people he was bringing along were meeting with her as well. I believe Harris owned some kind of repair shop or car shop, and he was dealing with like property damage as well. So she was kind of coaching him up on what to look for or how to make sure the damage reports were written, because you wanted your property damage to kind of match with your severity of your injury. So if you're claiming a client needed surgery and you only had $2,000 worth of property damage, those weren't really mixed. So apparently she was coaching Harris on how to further screw up the cars or make sure the damage was visible and apparent in these estimates. And also, he claims that she was coaching them up on what to say. Hey, what to tell the police, what to tell people, the doctors, how to go about your injuries, to say what was hurt and all this stuff. So there was a lot of hands-on coaching and hands-on activity with Mata and Harris and all his cohorts, so to speak. So he admits, look, she knew about it. She was telling us what to do. Even tells a story about how when things started to get hot, so to speak, and in 2023, they stopped wrecking 18-wheelers and started just getting in basic car wrecks. So he even goes as further to say, hey, Mata was like telling us what policies would be best. So I don't know if that meant like, hey, go find somebody with this insurance carrier. For instance, like you probably wouldn't want to go wrecking if somebody would go auto, because one, they're horrible, and two, all they do is write small policies. So in this, coincidentally, was They were talking about how she claimed, hey, Liberty Mutual's good. They pay out a lot. I don't know what she's thinking there. Liberty Mutual is horrible to deal with. They do not pay out a lot, and they fight you over everything. But that's neither here nor there. So they were going into actual policies and what coverages were good. I don't know. I guess she was being a good, bad lawyer and saying, hey, go get Liberty Mutual and make sure you get a huge policy. That way there's more money to go around. But he really got into it and said, look, I helped Garrison in the beginning when I was rising up. I helped Garrison recruit people. And then one of the times, I guess he did such a good job, then he became the guy who would orchestrate everything. So Harris testified, basically saying, look, I was a driver in one of these crashes and recommended my whole group to Mata, and the relationship just kind of sprang from there. So as recent as 2023, he's still doing it. Now remember, this is the guy, he's already sentenced. He's already sentenced to 35 years in his role, or for his role in the killing of Garrison. That trial is going to come in August, but he is a star witness here. He kind of went further and said, look, I own a landscaping company on the side. Sometimes they paid me for landscaping services that I didn't do. My friend owned a t-shirt company. Sometimes they wrote him checks for t-shirts, but nobody got them. So you got money exchanging hands in newspapers. You got money exchanging hands in advertising charges. Now you got fake leaf services, grass cutting that never happened, and a whole bunch of t-shirts that never really got made. So all this is going on. And then Harris went in deeper and said, hey, kind of similar into what happened with Badeaux. He breaks off from Garrison, starts working on his own. Garrison showed him the ropes what to do, but now he was all right, and he was doing stuff with Mata and Alfortis, like I said, till 2023. He went into detail about where he liked to stage these wrecks. He said Chapatulas and Callio, hot spot. Of course, the East. That's where a lot of this stuff happened. That was great because it was dark and there weren't any really cameras anywhere. So yeah, he just really pulled the, blew the door open, pulled back the curtain, and said, "Look, I thought Mata was my friend. I would walk in through the back door like it was my own place. She never paid me directly. It kind of came on the side through either Alfortis or somebody else. But there were no secrets, is what his testimony was. There were no secrets when they were talking to me or my family. We kind of talked about this stuff up in the open. There's no way she didn't know what was going on." So that is another huge, huge witness testimony in this case. You basically have two of the top three people in this whole racket. Obviously, the third one can't testify. He got capped. But you have two of the three power players in this whole thing who were causing the wrecks, putting them together, the mastermind, saying, hey, Attorney A knew about, A, B, and C, everybody who's named in this trial knew about this. We were working for them. They knew it. They paid us, whether directly, indirectly, some other bullshit company. They knew about it. They were doing it. And that's how we got here. So that's where we're at now. We are midway through, I believe, the third week. I'm not sure how many other witnesses are going to get called to testify. I don't know if they're going to bring Leon Parker in here. I don't know if he's more of a concern for the murder trial in August. But I also don't know if Giles or Mata are going to take the stand and try to defend himself. They could plead the fifth. They can't self-incriminate themselves if they don't choose to. So I'm not sure. The prosecution is rumored to maybe be finishing up this week. So if that happens, obviously it's going to be totally on the defensive side. Are they going to call their clients to go and testify? Nobody really knows what's going to happen as we sit here today. So there's your most recent update. Just to remember, please share this video, like it, leave any comments or questions you might have for me, and I'll do my best to answer them. And follow me along on all your social media platforms. I'm on the TikTok now, Instagram, and my preferred is Facebook. So I try to keep you up to date. Of course, I'm not a legal analyst, but I'm trying to be yours. And I'm also just, once again, Netflix, when you're making this, just keep me in mind. I will go in depth and let you know everything that I know. And I also am doing I'm not an investigative reporter, and I don't have any, I'm not going to hammer down an ethics gavel on you, but I'm looking into some other filings that might correlate to this that I found pretty interesting. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated, and I will keep you abreast of the rest of the situation as best as I can. But just remember, not dealing with fake wrecks, not dealing with fake checks. If you're in a real wreck and you need help, better call Badeaux, and you'll be glad you did. Thank you. See you next week.